Well, I made a video ranking all of the background fish, why not sell out more? I'm hitting every Plankton plan from the main series. I'm not crazy enough to do the games or the comics. Plans are based off of success rate, appearance, practicality/creativity, and most importantly, memorability. Also, for a fun game that will totally kill ya, take a shot every time I say the words Plankton, Formula, Krusty Krab, and Plan. If you just want the overall rating, skip to the end chapter. Alright, let's go. The plans that just stink. Either they are super forgettable, boring, or just sucky in general. PL1413. Don't get the wrong idea here, this plan is really cool and super fresh, but it belongs in F because it is arguably the most failed plan of all time. Bikini Bottom is holding a time capsule ceremony, and KRABS tosses in a patty, to which Plankton charges at. In debatably the cruelest action ever taken by the cheapskate, KRABS locks Plankton in there for 2,000 years. Plankton finally escapes but finds a new world. Chrome is everywhere, and he gets a tour of the new town. Squidward has a museum, the Krusty Krab is closed, and SpongeBob is somehow still alive. Plankton learns that everyone knows the formula and can easily recreate it, so he turns to Sandy to head back in time. He runs into the Camp Coral version of her, who has been hopping through a bunch of various timelines. Plankton and her manage to leave, while we also get to see Plankton 2.0, according to Karen, who humana. Anyways, he winds up back home and gets thrown in an endless time loop. Probably the worst fate for Plankton, and that is why it is in F tier. Man will quite literally just never win. It's pretty sad. One course meal. Oh boy, let's make this quick. While it would be nice to avoid overall episode bias, I don't think it's entirely possible. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just TLDR, this is one of the most hated and blasted episodes of the entire show. For a Plankton plan, using mental warfare to mess with KRABS is cool. It's just a shame basically everything surrounding it is just cynical. It's not really a fun episode or plan. Hence F tier. Party Pooper Pants. He questions Mr. KRABS for the formula. Mr. KRABS says no. The wiki says this is the shortest scheme of the series, lasting about 8 seconds. I don't need to elaborate anymore. A place for pets. A quick and easy attempt upon learning the Krusty Krab allows pets, Plankton hops in spot for a basic disguise. He gets digested. What is with Plankton getting digested? He's been whale food, in a drink, in a ketchup bottle, on a patty itself, jelly beans, and now this. Ugh. Poor Plankton. Since this plan is early on, I actually just spoiled some of the future ideas I'll be covering soon. You're probably not gonna remember. My script right now is like 26 pages. This video is gonna be a long one. Buckle in. Snowball effect. He attempts to harness snow. He is crushed by less than a handful of it. What a failure. Goo Goo Gas. A very unique plan. Kinda just nasty. Plankton turns everyone old, then into babies, and it's just a very meh experience. He also hits Karen with a blast of the Goo Goo Gas and turns her into a young calculator. Is she still his wife? Should we be concerned here? Don't worry, I'm already contacting the YouTube drama channels. They'll take it from here. Lockdown for love. It's a steamy date night over at the Chum Bucket. A lovely hot air balloon ride glides Plankton and Karen over town, with Plankton spotting the easiest swipe of his life. Turns out, this was a trap by Karen. She locks down the building until Plankton can turn out a good date night. Partway through, Plankton sees the real formula and uses Patrick in his plan to fool Karen, who deserves so much better than Sheldon right now. Patrick is disguised as Ray Ray. That's what the episode says, not me. But Plankton, of course, screws this up, losing both the formula and a date night. Karen makes up for it though. Plankton gets pretty close, but this plan gets dropped a ton. Not cool ignoring your wife, Sheldon. Not cool at all. Side note, I love how they include SpongeBob in this episode. He's here for about 3 seconds. It's really cool seeing them expand out, but still pretty bad plan. Stanley, S. SquarePants. Yeah, I'm counting this as a plan. He hires SpongeBob's cousin Stanley, who just destroys the Chum Bucket. Nothing else to say. Plankton's regular. The SpongeBob Encyclopedia claims this is a Plankton plan, but I disagree. I'm keeping it here as a courtesy, but you just end up feeling bad for Plankton in this episode. His food is so bad someone has to be paid to eat it. Greasy buffoons. I'm writing this before I give a rating, but look at this mountain of a description on the wiki. So, SpongeBob and Mr. K have to clean out the grease trap of the Krusty Krab and dump it on Plankton's doorstep. Being dealt with this awful disadvantage, Plankton actually manages to turn it around. He sells incredibly greasy foods to the townsfolk. Krabs and him have a back and forth of nastiness, but both eventually get shut down by the health inspector. It's just okay. I don't think anyone remembers Greasy Buffoons. If I have a Greasy Buffoons fan watching, really sorry to have ruined your day. Grandma's secret recipe. Alright, I'm sorry, I'm writing these chronologically and then organizing later, so I might be repeating myself here, but I'm using my free pass on this plan. I really don't care for Grandma's secret recipe. Didn't like it when it aired, didn't care for it on reruns, it's just meh. Plankton just disguises as a grandma. That's it. That's all it is. Let me have this one. Alright, I really doubt you're gonna care about missing an extended analysis of Grandma's secret recipe. Who knows? Computer overload. After a minor breakup, Plankton builds new computers and combines them into a mech to overthrow the Krusty Krab. It's fine. Plankton's good eye. Plankton grows another eye but fails to respect proper gene modding and just ugh. Karen 2.0. I'm not really sure if this is a plan to steal the formula, but Plankton makes a second computer wife, but neither of them get along. Interesting idea, but just kind of forgettable. Just bleh, meh, and dare I say, Goodbye, Krabby Patty. After selling out to make frozen Krabby Patties, Cheapy the Cheapskate turns the crab into a museum. Plankton arrives, swipes the formula, but finds out it's just a souvenir. We are shown not too long after the SpongeBob had the original copy anyways, so this plan was doomed from the start. These plans are okay. Generally, they have some critical flaw in them. Some of them have at least some other elements going for them, but a chunk of these just have straight upgrades later on. Free samples. Fraud. That's all the plan is. Sell chum, but say it's a Krabby Patty. Fairly effective, but it lacks impact or character. And of course, fails. How do you mess up free food? That's like the greatest thing of all time. Culture shock. The legendary magician of Bikini Bottom procures a patty from the audience and will soon make it disappear. The appearance is the only thing giving this plan props from me. It fails spectacularly and blows up literally in his face. Maybe next time he could pull a more successful plan out of his hat. No pictures please. Simple. Hide in a camera that takes pictures of the Krabby Patty formula. One small, tiny, minor, trivial issue. We are in the intertidal zone, so everything's just an illusion. Was any of this real? Am I real? Who knows, but I do know for sure that writing a description for every Plankton plan sure feels like a Twilight Zone punishment sometimes. Surf and turf. Plankton actually just swiped the formula, and SpongeBob heads up to his tower to take it back. He does it pretty much instantly. I do love the reference to Dunces and Dragons, and this is going to be a super niche point, but does this tower and interior remind anyone of Bowser's Castle from Mario & Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story? Maybe it's just a spike thrown, but hey, anything even resembling the best Mario & Luigi game gets points from me. KRABS versus Plankton. Plankton tries a very basic plan to nab the formula, but slips on some water left by a mop. Overhearing the nearby citizens, Plankton instead takes Eugene KRABS to court. On paper, smart. Only problem is he basically lied the entire way, which is a shame because he did genuinely slip. I don't think his intent of being in the restaurant matters. All that does is he slipped. He has a good case to sue KRABS, but he fails to pilfer the formula from KRABS via litigation. I don't get it, man. You had the perfect setup. It was handed to you, and you screwed it up. For shame, Sheldon. For shame. He also did get beat by a guy whose defense was putting money into a blender. New Leaf. Aw man. Every time I come across this, I just get sad. A really good scene is sadly undercut by the twist of Plankton revealing he faked the entire episode. It doesn't work since Mr. Krabs expected it. It had so much potential. Rodeo Days. Rodeo Days? Huh? What does Sheldon have to do with Rodeo Days? Simple. Instead of stealing the formula, he resorts to terrorism. He fails nearly instantly. Genuinely forgot he was in this episode at all. Is this even a plan? I already wrote the rest of this entry, so no going back now. Atlantis Squarepantis. Tiny copepod stows away on a bus heading for Atlantis and attempts to use their tanks against them. Unlike other versions of Atlantis SquarePantis, we don't really see much of him or his adventure. His tank fires ice cream. Big fail here. Plankton's plan. In a blast from the past, this was a custom-made Kids' Choice Award short from 2004. Plankton, on his soapbox, showcases his new plan to defeat the Krusty Krab. Before he can reveal anything, we find out he and presumably all of Bikini Bottom is actually located in a drinking glass, to which Serena Williams, the legendary tennis player, drinks and spits him out. Your guess as to the context is as good as mine. Banned in Bikini Bottom. He just swats the Krusty Krab. Miss Gristlepuss eats a Krabby Patty and sees the holy light of that sandwich. It's a very unremarkable plan, but we do get to see Al Gristlepuss. I like him. Spongicus. For how grand of an idea it is to build an entire coliseum and host gladiator matches, it really falls flat in Plankton's face. The inside job. A different exploration of a future idea, that being using SpongeBob's brain. I like how the environment is shown and Plankton literally has to search Sponge's mind, but besides that, the plan's okay, just forgettable. SpongeBob's Road to Christmas. A journey to see Santa. For the second time. Actually, the third time. Plankton tags along on a jaunt to see good old Saint Nick, hoping to add himself to the nice list for that juicy formula. Plankton winds up with a photo of Patchy, it's a long story, instead of the formula. Cool idea, but to me they're just better Christmas-themed plans. Buried in time. Plankton digs for the formula, gets it, gets stepped on, and is left with the implication of him having to poop it out. Absolute cinema. The other patty. P, Lank, and KRAB compete to steal the formula for the Flabby Patty, a new hot item turning the undersea world into a frenzy. I like it, it has some good bits. SpongeBob is revealed to have planned this from the start, so more of a team bonding exercise than anything. Sweet and sour squid. Plankton helps Squidward to learn proper music theory. Can't teach an old octopus new clarinet tricks though, and Plankton's eardrums soon turn to ash. I like the wiki's description of Squid's clarinet music as corny. Alright, hey future me, they got rid of corny. I don't know why, whatever. Take it away, past me. Alright plan, just a bit forgettable. Nice hat though. Burst your bubble. After the latest fad of bubble boats, everyone in town wants a soapy ride. Plankton too, who requests a vehicle to cause chaos and terrify the town. He gets it and just gets absolutely destroyed by Larry. Fiasco. Plankton steals the residue of a patty and doesn't realize it's art. Me too, Plankton. Me too. He gets arrested, food eaten, as you expect. Personally, I think a better plan would have been to throw a can of tomato sauce at it, but hey, you do you, Plankton. For here or to go. Plankton wins himself a free Krabby Patty. After a bit of trying to stop him, he eats it, and has Karen scan it at the end. It, doesn't go well. Super evil aquatic villain team up is go. I am going to speak this way the entire entry. It is a really cool idea that doesn't really go anywhere. I want to stop talking like this. Move it or lose it. Due to new ordinance from the Bikini Bottom feds, restaurants must maintain a 100-foot distance. Both sides run to get signatures, with Plankton showing some smart business sense by selling old inventions. He gets enough, but the state representative was probably bribed and only moves the Krusty Krab instead of destroying it. Plankton's pet. Points for memorability. I'll never forget when Krabs nearly beat a child to death. Wouldn't have been the first time, but besides that, nothing special. Spot has nothing to do with this plan. Sorry, Spot. Houseworming. SpongeBob is infected with worms. Ew. Plankton volunteers to remove them in exchange for the formula and gets beat up by literal worms. That's it. That's all I got. Plankton gets the boot. Right at the start, Plankton has a Krabby Patty analyzer, just needs the patty. Marriage problems get in the way though, so the plan is killed before it can even really begin. Is this the second food analyzer he's made? We gotta start keeping track. Plankton's color nullifier. In a rare custom short, SpongeBob makes a rainbow Krabby Patty which draws in Plankton with his greatest device yet, the color nullifier. I don't see how it's gonna help anything, but I respect the scientific moxie for just removing color. Sadly, Plankton is an idiot and takes in too many colors, spitting out gradients and patterns everywhere before getting blasted out of the Krusty Krab. Call the cops. One of the surprisingly many plans involving the cops. This time, it's a prison break movie with Plankton and Patrick. It's fun, but this is no Clawshank Redemption. I feel as if better Patrick formula plots have been done before, though it is a nice change of scenery. The grill is gone. After the grill gets stolen by some local troublemakers, the Krusty crew race off in a fight for the grill. Plankton's also here and gets booted off. I like how he shows up out of nowhere and just gets flicked. Never returns. Peak. Welcome to the Chum Bucket. This is a very, very, very well-rounded plan. Plankton cheats in a card game for SpongeBob's contract. Great. He now just has to make SpongeBob make a simple Krabby Patty. But he learns really quickly that SpongeBob is a force of nature, giving in to every demand. Plankton lacks backbone in this episode until it is too late. He's forced to give the rebellious square sponge back to KRABS and gladly accepts defeat. On paper, great plan. In execution, just terrible. Plankton had a net loss the entire time, though it did stall the Krusty Krab for a day or two, so silver lining, I guess. Alright, finally, cooking a little bit. These plans have some decent qualities to them, but are often in the shadows of just better plans in general. If you had to do one of these, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but you have better options. SpongeBob's Last Stand. Huh. Man, this episode seems familiar for some reason. Stealing formulas, creating robots, and utilizing other villains just does not work. What is more evil than stealing? More diabolical than non-stop warfare? What can surpass the greatest sins committed by Plankton? Easy, employing the government's help. Plankton pitches an idea of the Shelly superhighway to the town, and it passes easily. It slams right through jellyfish fields and digs past the Krusty Krab, leaving it out of business. This is Plankton's plan and sets up negotiations for that amazing formula. Plankton failed to realize, though, that demolishing jellyfish fields will, anger the jellyfish. If there is one group in SpongeBob you do not want as enemies, it is the jellyfish. SpongeBob works the entire town to uproot the Shelly superhighway. The plan does work, but it's very short-sighted. I like the drastically different approach to screwing over the Krusty Krab, but it gets resolved way too fast. 7.8 out of 10, too many jellyfish. Walking small. So for a bit of a more rare plan, this one doesn't really involve the formula. Plankton seeks to pave over all of Goo Lagoon to build his Chum Bucket Mega Bucket. Similar to Fun, he employs mind games and psychological warfare. I have to give him credit. This is a pretty solid plan. I'm not really sure how it'll get more customers considering his food is garbage, but maybe he wanted to use it as a tourism business? We'll never know, since Plankton's manipulation plan backfires and he gets crushed. Logically, his plan kinda falls apart, but I think his attempts to make SpongeBob more assertive add memorability points here. Especially, you used me. For land development, Mimic Madness. A quick and simple plan. When the main cast is mimicking SpongeBob, Plank Bob tries to convince Mr. Crab Pants to give the formula. I don't know, I can't come up with names. It doesn't work. Good episode though, really enjoyed the song. The Fry Cook Games. One of the most manipulative plans of them all. He uses Patrick as a proxy to fight KRABS, who of course has SpongeBob. What entails is a battle of clashing characters and bonds. Not fighting for the formula, Plankton here fights for fame and pride. Doesn't stop him from playing dirty though. He got so close to winning, but the power of friendship defeats his and KRABS' plans. It's a very memorable plan, but very reliant on gaslighting the duo. I could see an argument higher than C, but up to you. Best frenemies. KRABS and Plankton have to work together to bring down Sprite. Sorry, Mountain Dew. Sorry, 7-Up. Sorry. It's pretty fun watching them fight this green giant together. And by the end, Plankton gets a head start on securing the formula. Will he make it? Oh, 100% no, but it's nice. This episode also has this legendary screenshot, and I find it's important enough to bring up here. Friend or foe. Dude. Flashbanging the Krusty Krab is a brutal plan. His attempt is foiled by a ceiling fan and is then forced to recount his history with KRABS. After the flashback, he and Karen make a hit and run for the formula. We don't know if they succeed, but I like the episode, so I'm being extra nice with the placement, even if the plan itself is fairly tame. Besides the flashbangs. Bucket Sweet Bucket. Bucket Sweet Bucket has Plankton get SpongeBob, Patrick, and eventually Mr. Tennis Balls to work on the Chum Bucket so he can steal the formula while they are distracted. I'm gonna be very biased here. Bucket Sweet Bucket is a perfectly passable episode. I doubt anyone would tell you it's their favorite. For some reason, I have a strong nostalgia for the episode, and that's the only reason why it's here in the ranking. Is this unfair? Yeah, I'm not arguing with you on that. Mermaid Man versus SpongeBob. If I remember correctly, this is the first Plankton and Mermaid Man crossover. Plankton uses shampoo to brainwash our crime fighters and six them on SpongeBob. They are only beaten thanks to the power of the Krabby Patty. 20,000 patties under the sea. Plankton competes with the Krusty Krab's mobile food stand. He gets chased by a monster, blah blah blah. You know why this is here, why it's so high up. It's not a grand plan, nor does it succeed, but Plankton gets some of the hardest lines to compensate. You know the clip.
You can't talk to my wife that way! What do you think this is?
I think it's time for you to lose some weight, fatty. That's what it is.
Hey, you can't talk to my grandson like that. Someone ought to put you in a mental hospital.
Someone should put you in a box floating down the river, Grandma.
The Great Patty Caper. SpongeBob and Mr. Star have to go by train to retrieve the secret formula from a bank. Plankton stows away to do, well, you know what he wants. It's the entire point of the video. I really like how involved he is here. He fights, tricks, lies, all in person, not through a proxy like earlier. He is getting his stubby, tiny fingers dirty. I like the part where Plankton dislodges the front car and thus nearly causes a senior citizen home to get destroyed. Perfect. Shellback shenanigans. Minor tangent incoming. I've watched a metric ton of SpongeBob, but I always have trouble remembering this one. I remember the episode well and fine and everything, but I always get it confused with Shell Shocked, where Gary gets a shell broken, they go to Angry Jack's Shell Emporium, yada yada. Plan-wise, Plankton disguises as Gary Wilson Jr., it doesn't work, and he gets brought to the vet. After some medical hijinks, he nearly wins, but Gary beats him up and chases him off. I'd say memorability is actually really good here, besides what I said about the confusing episode names, but that might just be a me thing. Though not for the perfect reasons. There are some fantastic screenshots of Plankton the snail getting abused, and I find that tablet image just a little bit too funny. The hankering. Mr. Krabs gets a small addiction to chum. Let's not question the morality here. Plankton sees he can capitalize on this and trades a lifetime of chum for the formula. It nearly works, but of course Dr. P.A. Langton lets his hubris get the best of him and attempts to short Mr. Krabs. It doesn't work, and long chum story short, he gets eaten. Perfect chemistry. In a very interesting team up, Plankton works with Sandy to build a teleporter to yoink that formula. I like the concept. It's cool. I also like how Sandy was smart the entire episode and fully knew of the plan. Plankton was never gonna win in this one, but besides that, it's pretty okay. Drive-thru. Plankton tries to buy a Krabby Patty in the drive-thru. He gets ran over by an old fart who didn't even use his turn signal and has the audacity to go 5 below the speed limit, even though I have some guy right behind me scraping my license plate. You know, some of us have places we'd like to go to. It's not like I'm in a rush on the road or anything, you know. Generally, most people like to actually make a decent progress on the road instead of going for a Sunday drive to admire all the lovely trees and cyclists on the road who are about to be crushed. No, it's fine. Just hold up the entire line for like 20 minutes and Neptune forbid we get to a right turn and you have to stop completely in the road, but before we do that, we have to let some other poor soul go first, even though you have the right of way. So doing this throws off the entire momentum and system that driving has in the first place. Take your time, enjoy your drive. I hope your kids put you in a retirement home if you even had any. Walking the plank. Ton. One of the episodes from the vacation specials, and it's just as forgettable as the rest. Plankton uses his cruise with Karen to steal the formula, but she finds out and goes haywire. Just enjoy the date for Neptune's sake. Kinda just more of Lockdown for Love, but more boring but more successful. I don't know, man. Captain Pipsqueak. This just in. Local tiny madman Plankton joins the ranks of evil. He seems to have adopted a new moniker of Captain Pipsqueak. Certainly fits him if you ask me. He works with his new pals to grab the formula, and they don't like that. And just surrender. Chum fricassee. Let's recruit Squidward, who has a secret recipe for making chum taste excellent. It just works with 16 times the detail until both Plankton and Squid's pride gets the better of them. Granny Tentacle shows up, reenacts a scene from House Fancy, and gets the place destroyed. There have been other plans involving other characters' moms that are way better than this one. Fun. First, Plankton swipes the patty but quickly gives it back after an impromptu torture session courtesy of the sponge. The next plan is to befriend the SpongeBob to get the patty, but Plankton soon likes being his friend. But it's all a ruse by the end, and Plankton is foiled by concrete behind a cinema screen. It's a smart, mind-gaming plan, but both times Plankton fails to really think far ahead. It gets some points for giving us the fun song, but we'll see many better plans and many worse plans. It's pretty simple, all things considered. It came from Goo Lagoon. It came from Goo Lagoon as a special? It's 22 minutes long? So chronologically, this is where my expertise falters a little bit. I tuned out basically right as season 9 really started gaining momentum, so forgive me if I miss a few details. Plankton attempts to harness the purple goo from Goo Lagoon. It's really cool to see his plans, but he's foiled by ye old classic dynamite. Wishing you well. The most simple, basic plan possible. He uses a wishing well to become tall so that he can go destroy stuff. It works, and SpongeBob and KRABS don't really seem concerned. Yup, married to money. Kinda weird, won't lie. Plankton disguises himself as a lovely dollar bill and woos Mr. KRABS, hoping to swipe the formula from him. They tie the knot, but KRABS' tears short-circuit Kashina, leading to a failed plan. Let's move past this before someone makes the very obvious joke. There's also an extra plan at the start involving an army of sea bears, which is sick. Honestly, I kinda want to see that more than this one. Copy Bob, ditto pants. Alright, welcome back to Gene Modding and Ethics 355. I'm your professor, Dr. B. Tan. And today I want to highlight to you a quick story of how not to engage in splicing. Our focus is Sheldon J. Plankton, known megalomaniac and tiny one-celled organism. He wants a formula, so he copies 297 SpongeBob clones. He fails to program them well, as they all eventually just turn into SpongeBob. I love the character list for this episode. Karen Plankton, Sheldon J. Plankton, SpongeBob SquarePants, 297 SpongeBob SquarePants clones. Debut. Lame and Fortune. When literal reality warping fortune cookies get dropped into Bikini Bottom, Plankton uses fear-mongering to win over the town. It works pretty well. Special note going to this funny image telling KRABS he's gonna flat out die. Plankton got close, but messed up his own plan at the end. And last we see is him about to be eaten. Just a fun plan. Pineapple invasion. We have a lengthy one here. Plankton, who somehow just grabbed a skunk from the surface, uses it to empty out the Krusty Krab. Before we go any further, are we really just gonna gloss over that? He got an entire skunk, air helmet, and everything. After that, he attempts to blow open the safe, but finds another one. Due to the chaos, SpongeBob is left with the formula, which he takes home. Gary is now the sole defender of the formula. Sheldon tries multiple methods of getting it, such as disguises or infiltrating Gary's shell. I love the visuals in the shell, especially this one, with the shells acting like mountains in the background. He eventually finds the formula, but it turns out to be a normal, not floating, shopping list. Delusional from the shell fumes, Plankton believes he is victorious, but instead, he's actually iCarly. That might be the stupidest joke I've ever made in my life. Alright, I need a break, dude. I don't know if you guys can tell my voice is given out. I don't know how people can record hours worth of voiceover. This hurts. Salsa and Bacillus. I forgot about this episode, and Squid's house having the clown hair caught me completely off guard. Plankton plans to turn everyone as smart as Patrick, but falls victim to it himself. Soon, everyone in the town is infected, and Sandy and Karen work together in a great team-up to save the town. I like it. It's a good episode and a good plan. Plankton retires. We have a cluster of plans here. First, Plankton rides up on a mechanical seahorse and jetpacks his way into the Krusty Krab safe. It's a fake, and he gets crushed. Next up, good old thievery. He finds a patty left out, takes it home, and finds out it's a fake. Alright, okay, 0 to 2 here. Next, yoink it from a customer, but KRABS invested in anti-air defenses and takes the patty back. Okay, how about the safe again? Nope, just a honey trap or jelly trap, whatever you want to call it. Okay, at the end of the line here, jump down some guy's stomach, and of course KRABS is there. Of course, yeah, why not? Fed up with all of this, Plankton retires. We journey to Dolesville, where he really has given up. KRABS and Sponge follow him, but soon discover, oh no, shocker, it's a robot! The real Plankton is back to stealing from the safe. Outplayed once again though, the Dolesville KRABS and Sponge were also robots. Can't blame the guy for wanting to quit, this is so tiring. Plankton's decoy bot and Robo-KRABS and Steel Pants do get to enjoy the rest of their short lives though, so that's nice. Pest of the West. Good old Deadeye Plankton runs Bikini Gulch with no mercy. One day, a lone chili-slinging sheriff rocks into town and defeats the infamous legend. This is quite different to the usual plans. Instead of watching Plankton take action, he's on defense the whole time. It's a nice inverse. Pretty good. Spin the bottle. A new way to steal the formula? Let's just dive into the bottle itself. This doesn't go too well, however, and Plankton eventually finds himself slammed into a ketchup bottle alongside Squidward, KRABS, and of course, Patrick. Shopping list. Sponge and eventually Sandy set out to grab 3 legendary ingredients to make a Krabby Patty. Yebby, Yeti crab fur, milk from a fang-toothed fish, and some dandruff from the best ghost in town. Plankton swipes it all at the end though, but it was for naught, as this was a decoy so Krabs could go by the actual ingredients. Plankton ends up blowing up the chum bucket. Simple plan, nothing else to say. You've heard this line over and over, but it's okay. Pat Nocchio. Philosophy major Sheldon disguises as Patrick's conscience to go get that formula. Patrick's actual conscience, that truly does exist, I didn't think that was possible, shows up and they beat the shell out of Plankton. Nice and simple plan. Sponge on the run. So, Plankton at first successfully nabs the formula, but falls into a fryer alongside his copy of the formula. Later, he happily sends off SpongeBob and Patrick to go find Gary, which easily leads to him getting the formula. And he does. He takes it. So why in Davy Jones's locker is this in C tier? He hands it back. Screw your morals, Plankton. For shame. Man, it was right there. Plankton's old chum. Instead of fighting for a formula, here Plankton just wants to get rid of his trash. No matter where he goes, all the landfills are, well, filled. He encounters SpongeBob and tricks him into hiding the chum around town in celebration of Chum Day. This backfires and a sanitary inspector forces Plankton to eat all the chum. It's fine. I don't know what you want me to say. The Krusty Bucket. Plankton makes a clone spliced with his and Krabs' DNA. Kinda wasn't expecting that to be a reoccurring topic on this video so far, but okay. It works, actually a little bit too well, as the new creature, dubbed Plank Crab, takes over both businesses. His powerful handshake can do anything, so original Krabs and Plankton team up to take down the dupe. They sick both parts of the clone onto itself, causing a split. Krabs request them to make a clean handshake, which ruptures reality itself and kills the clone. The Ghost of Plankton. In a spooky team-up, Plankton works with the undersea equivalent of the devil, the Flying Dutchman. At the start, Plankton realizes Ghost can't actually move that many physical objects, including the formula. After training in the sacred arts of the spirits, Plankton still can't move the formula. He returns home only to suddenly find everyone gathered around his funeral. And after a mild case of possession, Plankton is finally back and alive. Well, not for long. Blood is thicker than grease. Plankton's family is moved in and sets up shop with the Spud Bucket. Surprisingly, they mash a good potato and outsell both the Krusty Krab and the Chum Bucket. Krabs tempts Plankton with the formula and how it's now worthless, so Plankton sets off a plan to end the family business to save the status quo. It's the usual ideas: terrorism, releasing the Patrick, and more. None of them work, however. Can't beat them? Join them. And Plankton works for his family and is pretty satisfied with his life. But as expected, he messes stuff up when he uses chum as an ingredient and promptly ends the business. Oh well, it was fun seeing his family, especially how some of the minor family are from the Imagine family in Plankton's Army from Season 3. Not related to the plan at all, but I love this line from SpongeBob.
Things are going even better than I hoped.
I love when you get all Machiavellian, Mr. Krabs.
Never thought I would hear Sponge reference philosophy and civics. I wonder what's next. Buddhism? Sheldon SquarePants. Who can you always trust with secrets and super deep, important things you don't want most people to know? Your siblings! Which is why Plankton joins the SquarePants family. He endures many trials from SpongeBob to increase their brotherly love, including a fun game of catch with a side of hot sauce, lawn mowing, and eventually a tour of the metal shredder in the junkyard. Plankton finally gets close enough to hear SpongeBob's big secret, the ultimate truth he's been hiding forever from all of us. Oh, right, yeah, no, not that one. Plankton has to reveal his secret first. He uses a tough guy act to be stoic and strong, hiding his weakness and shame from everyone he knows and cares about, but deep down, he fears this will just alienate him and leave him alone. SpongeBob uses a clip-on tie. Plankton, not getting the desired result, tries to take a different approach to the formula, but he is instead given to the stars, where he now becomes Patrick's brother. Oh brother, Plankton. Oh brother indeed. These plans are good, better than average, decent success rate, and quite memorable. They have a lot more creativity than anything that came before. You're going to pay. Phone. Plankton brings out a laser to strike right through the Krusty Krab, and he's just given the deed to the place. Okay, we win. It was in the title zone though, so not real. Fear of a Krabby Patty. A lot of people are going to be confused here. So, Dr. Peter Plankton is not Plankton, which I actually brought up in my Plankton College video. I'll only talk about Dr. Plankton's plan here because so many people get the two confused. Peter's goal is to drive out the Krusty Krab into working 24 hours a day, hoping to drive SpongeBob insane. And it works flawlessly. He recommends himself as a therapist and uses this cover to attempt to grab the formula. He has a wide variety of tactics, such as cards, but always ends up with him getting crushed with a piano. He very nearly succeeds, but as we have found out throughout this video, you never ever want to doubt SpongeBob. The fry cook's will and good-natured soul wins in the end. Plankton lost here, and worst, he didn't even get paid for all the therapy sessions. Luckily, I have just the sponsor, that being BetterHelp. Someone's in the kitchen with Sandy. Yay. This isn't an episode review, I have to view this through the lens of a Plankton plan, and by that rule set, the plan is really solid, even if the episode just sucks. Plankton steals Sandy's fur, don't ask, and uses it to sneak into the Krusty Krab. He has to put up with SpongeBob's sheer stupidity, but nearly yoinks the formula. He's caught by Sandy right at the end and suffers in a jar of mustard. Spy Buddies. Is this a good plan at all? No. Is it very memorable? Maybe. But I currently have Splatoon music blasting right now while I write. Booyah! Dopey Dick. I already used up all the jokes in my video on this episode, so let's both agree to keep it mature. In a time long past, Fishmail Tentacles gains a job on Ye Olde Pineapple to join Captain SpongeBob on a quest to hunt down the legendary albino jellyfish, Dopey Dick. But along their way, we run into KRABS and Planky the Parrot, who betray SpongeBob and pilfer our catch. In order to get that valuable jelly, they suck our Dopey Dick. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself, okay? Anyways, SpongeBob frees our jelly friend, who then destroys the vessel manned by Krabs and Planky. Fun episode, fun plan. It's always nice to see them team up. Hello, Bikini Bottom. I always forget that Ned and the Needlefish have cameos in this episode. Besides that, Mr. Krabs takes our duo of Squid and Sponge to tour the world. He sells the Krusty Krab. Plankton encounters it and just can't afford to buy it. When he finally gets enough, Krabs has swiped it back. I just like the thought of him trying to buy the Krusty Krab. Pretty funny. Eek, an urchin. Three Eyes attempts to use glasses to blend into the crowd, but probably should have just wore contacts. A contact. This turns into an enemy of my enemy situation as Plankton and the crew work together to stop a sea urchin. He then disguises himself as a sexy lady urchin, but doesn't go as planned. Through using the God-given power of air conditioning, Willis Carrier, you're my hero, they freeze the urchins. Both are good plans. I like them. Jailbreak. Plankton, a huge enthusiast of the Escapist series, uses his infamy to bust out and ideally nab that formula. We get a great escape set piece as he works with his fans, using chum as plastic explosives and other tools and weaponry. Breaking out, our squad has their sights on the Krusty Krab. The police have other ideas though, and set up an ambush inside the safe. Plan doesn't work, but pretty good. Kinda just repeating myself here, but I don't have much to say. Plankton Paranoia. This is more of a plan by accident. It's the anniversary of the first formula theft attempt, and Krabs is losing it. After spending about 48 hours awake, Krabs is delusional. He bans everyone from the Krusty Krab, Sponge and Squid included. After getting squidnapped, Krabs has to rescue Mr. Tortellini, but this is a ruse. It's actually just a surprise party to celebrate everything. At the end, Plankton does try to nab the formula, but it's stopped. I really like this one image of a tied-up squid looking at a Krabby Patty. I don't know why, but just, it speaks to me. Company picnic. I don't know why, but the idea of Plankton attempting to outshine a Krusty Krab picnic feels so fresh. He nearly wins over Mr. Krabs and Squid, but SpongeBob discovers his holographic illusion. I like how one of the rides Plankton showed them was revealed to be a literal corpse with meat still on the bone. Is this an eel? Is it split down the middle? That's so metal. I love it. Pretty good plan. I enjoyed it. CHUMS, or just chums. A plan to go through the Krusty Krab's air ducts quickly fails as SpongeBob floods it with a hose. Plankton sloshes down into the sewer and meets a bunch of sentient chum. Can I just say, this is a fun idea. Plankton's chum coming alive. He trains up his nasty friends and prepares for war on the Krusty Krab. He actually gets pretty close, and I love the various techniques and designs that the monster gets, especially a modern-day tank. SpongeBob winds up washing the creature back down into the sewer, so it's a failure. Just a neat idea, honestly. The Legend of Boo-Kini Bottom. Scare Tactics. That is the name of Plankenstein's game, and of all things to reference, he goes for Soylent Green, which threw me for a bit of a loop. After having his soul removed, Plankton tries a last-ditch effort to work with the Flying Dutchman. It does not work. I wonder if he got to visit the Fly of Despair at some point. Fun plan, and as per usual, excellent visuals. The Krusty Slammer. Finding out about the gold mine that is private prison ownership, Warden KRABS manages the new Krusty Slammer. He tortures Plankton for a bit, but eventually his sentence is up, but KRABS isn't done. No, not anywhere close. He brings in more prisoners and takes in more cash. Eventually he gets fed up with their antics involving SpongeBob and releases them, which, I would like to add, is illegal. In turn, KRABS gets arrested and sent to a new prison, the Chum Bucket. Plankton ends with a victory. He didn't get the formula, but you know, win's a win. King Plankton. Hey, me editing the video, you should put in some like trumpet fanfare or something, that'd be kind of funny. Sheldon Macbeth finds himself in SpongeBob's Sea Monkey Aquarium and attempts to rule over them with a fist of iron. Turns out Plankton is a sucky leader, who would have guessed, and his subjects stage an uprising against the mad tyrant. I love the shot of Plankton tied to the two pillars. There's just something so ominous about that image. Plankton doesn't win, but it's one of the few times the formula doesn't really seem to be on his mind. He just wants to rule, which I respect. Plankton's intern. SpongeBob can't be fooled, Squidward is too smart, Patrick is too dumb. Who can we get that still has good access to the formula? We even went after KRABS' mom, spoiler for later, so instead, let's get his daughter. Plankton hires Pearl as an intern for a summer job. Pearl, under orders from her dad, must obey her boss. The boss. Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater. Get it? Both are voiced by Lori Allen. This reference is gonna be so niche, man. I hope at least somebody gets it. Anyways, Big and Tiny slide into the Krusty Krab, and Pearl, using the legendary scientific invention of a combination code, breaks into the safe. Plankton has it in his grasp, but KRABS shows up, in addition to SpongeBob, who was here sleep cooking. After tense negotiations, Pearl swaps sides back to her dad, so Plankton loses. Pretty great team up. That's one of the things I really like about season 11 and onwards. There's a lot more experimentation in cast dynamics. Like, go check the episode list a year or two from now. I bet we're gonna have some episodes about, like, I don't know, Larry and Squidward doing something. I don't know what, but something. The flower plot. Plankton moves away and a new business is set over the Chum Bucket. Stop me if this sounds familiar at all. He disguises himself as Petunia, a lovely florist. The plan is simple. Sell flowers with explosives, take the Krusty Krab. Plankton has a change of heart though and saves it all last minute. And Squidward falls in love with him. Fun plan, and felt surprisingly fresh. Also, Karen as a sunflower is a great design. Also, there were some cut elements of this plan, namely Petunia selling more flowers to Sandy and Larry, but also to a jellyfish. Sandy rocks that daffodil. Just saying. Also, early on we see a moving truck filled with a few machines that we covered. Nice detail. Also, and finally, not related to the plan at all, but pretty much all of the lovely flowers were modeled after real ones. I love the attention to detail, and especially how some of them are coral. I just want to make an entire video on SpongeBob backgrounds. They have no right to be this gorgeous. Like, art. Beautiful. Krabby Road. Plankton forms the legendary band Plankton and the Patty Stealers. Plankton's plan does fail, but I can't ever get over monster buff Squidward. It feels so wrong, but so right. We've got the whole band. SpongeBob on guitar, Plankton on keyboard, Buffward on bass, and my boy Patrick on the best instrument. I will not take drum slander on this channel. Thanks. The second movie. Plankton begins the second movie with a colossal food fight involving planes, mechs, and tanks. It's fun watching this war, and Plankton does manage to partially get the formula, but the Burger Beard stuff ruins the plan, which will make Plankton eventually team up with SpongeBob. I like how Plankton and SpongeBob's dynamic is the focus of the second movie. It really branches out in new ways. He only really wins when Burger Beard is defeated, but hey, he at least learned stuff about teamwork. Welcome to Binary Bottom. In the deep, dark depths of the Tidal Zone, no, not that one, we find a world inhabited by robotic equivalents of the crew. Gary, Squid, and Sponge all run into the Grease Bucket, where Plankbot vows his revenge. It's gonna take him quite a lot of time though, considering the windup. We do get to see a flesh and blood Karen, which is really cool. This isn't a plan, I just wanted to talk about Binary Bottom. The inventiveness is off the charts. I would kill to be able to see the process of making one of these episodes. Does this belong in B tier? Not necessarily, but I wanted to help break up the section. Single-celled defense. Feeling weak after getting stepped on non-stop, Plankton learns self-defense from Sandy. He quickly becomes a master and demolishes anyone looking to splat him on the sidewalk. This power quickly goes to his head and he begins his attack on the Krusty Krab. KRABS has thought ahead though, and hired security ninjas to defend the formula. In a very fun and especially charming fight, Plankton defeats the 3 ninjas of various shoe weaponry. Sharp stilettos and shoe nunchucks fly, but they do little to stop Plankton. Even 3 pairs of spiky cleats fail to stop this tiny madman. He kicks down the down. Wow, I wrote that in the script. He kicks down the door, ready to finally best KRABS once and for all. Except, KRABS doesn't have feet. Plankton's only weakness. KRABS takes him down in one shot. Concept-wise, I love it. He gets pretty far, especially with the security ninjas. The SpongeBob SquarePants musical. Yeah, baby, we're bringing up the musical, and yes, I am going to glaze it non-stop for this section. By the way, spoilers if you care about this. I don't know if anyone cares about this, but I'd rather be safer than sorry. Skip to the timestamp, you know the drill. This version of SpongeBob SquarePants finds out the Bikini Bottom is soon to be destroyed by Mount Humongous, a nearby volcano. The town is in chaos as every fish fights for what they should do. SpongeBob wants to stay and come up with a plan, same with Sandy, but our eye patch wearing Plankton, played by the fantastic Wesley Taylor in the live on stage version, hatches a scheme. Let's order an escape hatch, but have it actually be a collective hypnosis machine. Everyone will have to eat chum then, just ignore the possibility of dying cause, you know, you sabotage the escape craft. Perfect. And in response to criticism from SpongeBob and Sandy, he busts out the old classic weapon, literal racism. He turns the entire town on Sandy, who is their only hope, though SpongeBob manages to inspire to continue with a strategy to save the town. He, Sandy, and Patrick march for the volcano and have to climb fearful spires of magma, molten rock, and ladders. During this time, Plankton and Karen show up in the audience and blast the mountain, causing an avalanche. Luckily, our crew survives this easily, stops the destruction, returns home, and quells the chaos. Plankton also gets a rap segment and a song. Peak. I'm skipping over a ton of details here, especially everything with Gavin Lee as Squidward, best part, hands down. Please give it a watch, I just wanted to include it here because the musical deserves as much attention as possible, please. In tier list terms, the plan doesn't work, but come on, it's a creative musical that has Plankton wearing this sick outfit. How can it not be anything but a B or above? Heavy hitters, that is what A tier holds. Consistently strong and fresh, some of them even have potential of making it to S, but have some minor scratch or flaw that drops them down. Plankton, where it all began. A very basic and simple plan, but set the gold standard for all of Sheldon's future attempts. He wants the formula and sets out to mind control SpongeBob. Not that mind control, no, I mean literal control. He utterly defeats SpongeBob and humiliates that mediocre clarinet player as well. Right at the end, he stumbles and falls victim to the siren call of the Krabby Patty. For a first attempt, Plankton knocks it out of the park, rightfully earns his placement in A tier. Spot returns. Alright people, gather round. This is the last time I cover the heist plan, so follow it well. First, twins distract the floor. They hold attention on themselves. Everyone loves a cute amoeba, why not two? Second, the acrobat hits the vents, sneaks to the room. He avoids the guard C-Star, cracks open the window, and lets Demolitions in. Third, Demolitions Puppy does what Demolitions Puppy does best, blows the safe. Fourth, secure the target. 4.5. Comic relief, keeps the mood light. 5. Enjoy the satisfaction of victory. Any questions? No? Well, Ramblers, let's get rambling. Sadly, this plan never made it to step 5. SpongeBob managed to stop the amoeba puppy heist. I love Spot, can't go wrong with him. Well deserved in this tier. Single cell anniversary. Come on, I can't make fun of this plan. Plankton looks for a gift for his wife and comes up with a nice song. Sure, is it for the goal of the Krabby Patty? Yeah, but give him some slack. Just a nice plan. Nothing mean to say here. Enemy-in-law. This gets an A tier just for the sheer balls it takes to execute this plan. You have someone you dislike, marry their mom, become their stepdad, and steal their trade secrets to screw them over. Plankton lacks charisma though and gets clocked by Mama KRABS. Memorability is high on this one. Everything else is low, but man, that one category, insanely high, just carries the entire thing. Chum Bucket Supreme. So, dear viewer, who is the smartest person in Bikini Bottom? Yep, you're right, it's Patrick. Do you think it's a good idea to hire this starfish to lead your marketing campaign? If you say no, then you are a fool. Chum is fun might be the greatest slogan I have ever heard, and it shows. Customers are drawn non-stop to see what the buzz is all about. It works too. The fish happily eat the chum. As a business, this is like the greatest concept of all time. How do we top this? Easy. Fum is chum. Instant classic. Plankton, like most business CEOs, fails to respect Patrick and screws up everything. Kinda reminds me of a few companies. SpongeBob on parade. I've probably said this a ton by now, but this is so fresh. Mr. Krabs assigns Sponge and Squid to build a parade float for free marketing. SpongeBob builds a model Krabby Patty with a giant secret formula prop. It's quite authentic too, considering it has the actual formula on it. Plankton catches wind and plans for float-to-float combat. He slams into the back and crashes through the entire parade and snags the comically oversized formula. Catching me off guard on my first watch, the gas station float follows up and just blows everything up. Plankton does, however, technically win. We have confirmation Krabby Patties are made with salt. Holy fish paste. Besides Plankton winning, this is one of my favorites from season 13. Creativity's off the charts. Honestly, I recommend you go and give it a watch. They even got my boy Patrick Notstar in it. Crabs a la mode. A very nice yet simple take on a formula plan. Can't get into the Krusty Krab? Why not freeze it over? SpongeBob's ingenuity manages to beat Plankton though, so he uses his last resort, the clam bony. He gets to the door, but is body blocked. So close, yet so far. Frozen face-off. Sick episode. I'm starting to realize most of the plans that stick out to me and get decent ratings are the super memorable ones. I like Frozen Face-Off. Plankton loads all of his treasure in one piece and tells the world before he is executed to go and find an... Sorry, wrong show. Plankton hosts a sled race, serving to distract everyone so he can waltz into the Krusty Krab. I don't think I've ever encountered a Frozen Face-Off hater in my life. Plankton constantly tries to open up the safe, eventually resorting to nuclear means. He gets it, but gets caught at the last minute. But he is a failsafe. This also doesn't work, but it's a nice measure. It's a SpongeBob Christmas. I love this plan. Playing on a technicality, Plankton schemes to become the nicest person in all of Bikini Bottom by making everyone else worse. With this, Santa will show up just in time for Christmas and hand him the secret formula. As we have seen and probably will see once again, Plankton underestimates SpongeBob, this time his unending joy for the holidays. SpongeBob uses his joy to undo the jerktonium fruitcakes Plankton provided. I can't be a jerk to this episode. It's Christmas! Also again, drop-dead gorgeous art style. The Krusty Krab training video. This gets an A mostly for memorability. He hijacks a patty and uses robot legs to ride it away. It gets easily caught and Plankton remarks he should have gotten the turbo. Short, sweet, and to the point. Was this ever gonna work? No, but it's a great line. Evil spatula. Plankton engineers a fake spatula to fool SpongeBob. With it, he enacts his greatest plan. Every journey begins with a single step. This is Phase 1. Infiltrate the Krusty Krab. Phase 2. Destroy the spatula. Phase 3. Send in the Trojan seals. Phase 4. Fool the sponge. Phase 5. Skewer the Franklin's jaw. Phase 6. Wield the fist of fire. Phase 7. Wait, no, Krabs found out about the plan. Handemonium. In a really fun concept, Plankton brings the fist of the Chum Bucket building to life, and bets on an arm wrestling match for that formula. He wins, easily, and rides his mount to the Krusty Krab. But, as with most Plankton plans, it falls short right at the end, as he now has a hand in destroying Bikini Bottom. Was that a good pun? No. Hands down. SpongeBob and Plankton disguise as a beautiful hand, but alas, it is a trick. Well, with that plan failed, all gloves are now off. We hit Glove World and call upon the legend himself, Hans. Uncontested, he easily beats the Chum Fist and the day is saved. I like the creativity, and I've also ran out of hand puns, so we gotta move on. Say aw. Tired of being called cute, Plankton builds a mechanical monstrosity to attack people when they say aw. It's not even for the formula, he just wants to get revenge on people he doesn't like. I respect the tenacity. His plan works way too well, as he and the entire town become victims and have to escape. Fun plan, fun idea, really good episode. Aw man, I love this episode. Wait. What? No, wait, no! SpongeBob's big birthday blowout. We have a double whammy. In Bikini Bottom, everyone is preparing for a surprise party for SpongeBob. Pat distracts him on the surface while the others decorate the pineapple. Plankton sees an opportunity to grab the Krusty Krab keys, but gets squashed. This plan is fine and supposed to be small. That's not why it's in A tier. Some lunatic arrives at the trusty slab, armed with, oh my god, that's a gun. Okay. This guy means business. Luckily, a local karate enthusiast customer takes him out. Yeah, this plan is also simple and basic, but come on. It's the live action scene from SpongeBob's Big Birthday Blowout. You have to give it respect. Plankton and the Beanstalk. In a fantasy land, Jack Plankton buys a magic bean and shows it off to his wife, Clockwork Karen, who berates him for wasting money. Luckily, Jack's beanstalk skyrockets and takes him up to ye old Krusty Krab. He finds a giant porous goose who can create legendary golden patties. Before he can run off though, Jack runs into the giant. Our David and Goliath fight, and Jack busts out his laser cause screw you and defeats the giant. He then uses part of his corpse to serve as his new restaurant. So, by all accounts from my criteria, that's a really strong plan. It was a bit of a gamble to buy a magic bean, but hey, it worked. I'm not sure whether to put this in A or S tier. It's right on the edge. I guess we'll see where this ends up in the final ranking. Who knows? The best of the best. The ones that need no introduction. You should probably know these ones before I even get to them. Imitation Crabs. Originally, I wrote this to be an A tier, but I had to change it. It feels wrong not giving this iconic plan anything but S. Plankton builds a robo-Crabs and fools SpongeBob into taking out the real one. On his steps to this, Squidward, being the best character in the show, sees right through it. But robo-Crabs suggests taking the day off and hey, good enough deal for me. He does have to put up with more of SpongeBob's antics, but gets within physical reach of the formula. Krabs comes back, but Plankton even beats him in the trust department. He's got it all in the bag. Just have to secure the formula and hope no pennies enter the coin-operated self-destruct and oh no. Definitely one of the worst ideas Plankton has ever had. It's pretty much the only thing bogging down the plan. Without it, this would probably be top 3. Plankton's Army. Now this is how you make a plan. Tired of being stepped on or having his civil rights ignored, Sheldon contacts his cousins. After a bit of bartering and embarrassment, his strike force sieges the Krusty Krab and easily topples Krabs and Squidward. Even against a large safe vault, the family easily cracks it open and Plankton gets his tiny stubborn fingers onto the formula. He opens it and is horrified at the ingredient list of Plankton. He and the family scatter to the wind, not realizing it was a last-ditch scare tactic. The plan does fail, yeah, but can you blame them? If you found out someone was claiming to cannibalize you or your species, I'd be pretty terrified too. He had victory in his hands, but chose to flee for fear of his life. Squid does later remark the real formula is hidden in Krabs' mattress, which is a smart ploy. Regardless, a really good plan with little weakness, but stopped by something Plankton really couldn't have seen coming. Chum Caverns. This is probably my hottest take today. I do believe Chum Caverns belongs in S tier. Plankton attempts to burrow underground to snag the formula, but finds himself stuck in a cave. He finds these things, which still don't have any trivia for their creation to my knowledge. Like, this is a huge discovery. There is a fairly sentient group of creatures stuck underground, likely without a way to the surface. Wonder if they'll ever return. Plankton manages to tame and befriend them, to which he uses the new Chum Caverns as a new restaurant and tourism attraction. It works incredibly well. Plankton makes bank. Like, Plankton. He even has a gift shop. When does stuff start going wrong? When Krabs punches his way in. Trying to defend his rightfully earned business from Krabs, he accidentally winds up caving both restaurants in. But the plan works, is memorable, and passes the criteria with flying colors. I still stand by what I say. This is S tier. Bottle burglars. He got it. He got the formula. Plankton, Sheldon J. Plankton, owner of the Chum Bucket and college graduate, got the Krabby Patty formula. Sponge and Squid accidentally threw it out with the trash. In a beautiful twist, Plankton now has to defend his newly found treasure. I'm gonna be honest, I really like bottle burglars. I think it's really solid. This isn't even a Plankton plan, but it feels so weird seeing SpongeBob SquarePants in high definition. Even though I've seen so many new episodes, I still can't get over how good this show looks. Fun plan, very fun episode, fun premise, just fun everything. One of my favorites from season 11, just shy of reaching top 3. The first movie. I mean, what were you expecting? This is the peak of plans, the zenith of the schemes. Plan Z, steal Neptune's crown, frame KRABS, and take over the whole world with bucket helmets. His plan is successful. Neptune, like the bald idiot that he is, falls for the plan instantly. SpongeBob and Patrick go to Shell City to get that crown back. Just hire a mercenary to go kill them, who, in a roundabout way, ends up achieving that. The only person left in town who could stop him, Squidward, foolishly announces his entire plan to Plankton and is, well, taken care of. Plankton wins here, and he gets within seconds of KRABS dying, though it's stopped by the Knucklehead McSpazatron Wizard. Even when this derails his plan, he shows off his umbrella and takes control of Neptune. Backup plan on backup plan, Plankton is prepared this time around. SpongeBob manages to defeat him though, but hey, give Plankton credit here. This was a near complete victory. Easily earns an S tier. Also, there was a popular clip going around of a rescreening of the movie in a Chicago theater, and I just want to show off this clip. Daddy, no! I love this community so much. Dunces and Dragons. Hear ye, gather round for a classical myth. Planktonamore, the legendary wizard, sits atop his stone tower. His plan, simple. Destroy King KRABS and take over all of Bikini Bottomshire. Krabby Patties haven't been invented yet, so can't rely on a formula here. The plan is literally perfect. Planktonamore has control of a giant dragon jellyfish who happily does his bidding. He burns down schools, retirement homes, even ye old bowling alley. His jellyfish also kidnaps Princess Pearl, and he's even aware of the time-traveling philosophy that includes SpongeBob and Patrick. Even though the adventurers reach the peak of the tower, Planktonamore is not worried and sicks his jellyfish on him. No one is a match for him at all. It is a complete landslide victory, except Sponge feeds it a Krabby Patty from the future. Planktonamore could not have known about this. How was he supposed to know a hero from the future would happen to bring a sandwich that your minion would love? Planktonamore just got screwed here. If it wasn't for something completely outside of his control, he would have won. He has the stakes, the drama, everything. But for me, I think there is one plan that is greater. Algae's always greener. Yep, bet you weren't expecting this. When I first drafted this idea, I thought algae would be like B or A tier, but after thinking for a while, I'm confident in my guess of this being first place. Plankton uses a life-switching machine to swap into a world where he owns the Krusty Krab, and KRABS runs the chum bucket. By definition, Plankton's plan here is completely successful. He runs the Krusty Krab, has access to the formula, and easy access to the Krabby Patty. Where he is dragged down, however, is in his realization of being KRABS. Constantly hounded by a naked guy with non-stop threats and hectic chaos, Plankton breaks after not even a full shift as manager. It's a great way of making him realize how annoying he is in the main world. Not that that stops him though. In a rare moment of supreme victory, Plankton escapes and is gladly content with eating his holographic meatloaf. Does his plan succeed? Yes, in the technical sense, and yes, in the moral victory sense. The overall appearance is great and he easily swaps lives. Everyone remembers algae's always greener. All of the criteria is easily fulfilled. A glad first place entry for all of Plankton's plans. Since I forgot to include it last time in this kind of video, here is a complete recap of the rankings. Also, to make my life worse in the future when editing, this is going to be all in one take. Oh boy. Alright. Let's get started. F tier, PL1413, one course meal, all of Jimmy Neutron, I'm not sorry, SpongeBob's House Party, A Place for Pets, Snowball Effect, Goo Goo Gas, Lockdown for Love, Stanley S. SquarePants, Plankton's Regular, Greasy Buffoons, Grandma's Secret Recipe, Computer Overload, Plankton's Good Eye, Karen 2.0, Goodbye, Krabby Patty. D tier, free samples, Culture Shock, No Pictures Please, Surf and Turf, KRABS vs. Plankton, New Leaf, Rodeo Days, Atlantis Square Pantas, Plankton's Plan, Band in Bikini Bottom, Spongicus, The Inside Job, SpongeBob's Road to Christmas, Buried in Time, The Other Patty, Sweet and Sour Squid, Burst Your Bubble, Fiasco, For Here or To Go, Super Evil Aquatic Villain Team Up is Go, Move It or Lose It, Plankton's Pet, Housewarming, Plankton Gets the Boot, Plankton's Color Nullifier, Call the Cops, The Grill is Gone, Welcome to the Chum Bucket. C tier, SpongeBob's Last Stand, Walking Small, Mimic Madness, The Fry Cook Games, Best Frenemies, Friend or Foe, Bucket Sweet Bucket, Mermaid Man vs. SpongeBob, 20,000 Patties Under the Sea, The Great Patty Caper, Shellback Shenanigans, The Hankering, Perfect Chemistry Drive-Thru, Walkin' the Plankton, Captain Pipsqueak, Chum Fricassee, Fun, It Came from Goo Lagoon, Wishing You Well, Married to Money, Copy Bob Ditto Pants, Lame and Fortune, Pineapple Invasion, Salsa and Bacillus, Plankton Retires, Pest of the West, Spin the Bottle, Shopping List, Pat Nocchio, The Third SpongeBob Movie, Plankton's Old Chum, The Krusty Bucket, The Ghost of Plankton, Blood is Thicker Than Grease, Sheldon SquarePants. B tier, Fear of a Krabby Patty, Someone's in the Kitchen with Sandy, Spy Buddies, Dopey Dick, haha, Hello Bikini Bottom, Eek and Urchin, Jailbreak, Plankton Paranoia, Company Picnic, Chums, The Legend of Boo-Kini Bottom, The Krusty Slammer, King Plankton, Plankton's Intern, The Flower Plot, Krabby Road, The Second Movie, Welcome to Binary Bottom, Single Cell Defense, The SpongeBob SquarePants Musical, Plankton, Spot Returns, Single Cell Anniversary, Enemy in Law, Chum Bucket Supreme, SpongeBob on Parade, KRABS a la mode, Frozen Face Off, It's a SpongeBob Christmas, Krusty Krab Training Video, Evil Spatula, Handemonium, Say Aw, wait no, SpongeBob's Big Birthday Blowout, Plankton in the Beanstalk, S tier, Imitation Krabs, Plankton's Army, Chum Caverns, Bottle Burglars, The First Movie, Dunces and Dragons, The Algae's Always Greener. Alright, I'm out of energy here. I'm gonna go sleep for a few months. I've been Butan. Thanks for watching.